Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, NCAA College Football Week 3. Big news today. The Big Ten will start playing in October. I guess with some new, with the rapid testing and everything available now that the Big Ten commissioners have decided. Mid-October, 8-week schedule, or 8-game schedule, all conference games. So we got some Big Ten powerhouse that's coming back. I like it. We got SEC starting, I believe, it's next weekend. So yeah, so this weekend we have the third week season. Now in week 2, here at Robert Sports Show, we did the 20 games. We went 14-6 on picks, straight up. 10-10 against the spread. 8-12 on the over/under. Overall, I was 32-28. Not too bad for the week. I'm happy with that. About 500. Now year to date, puts me 18-8 win-loss against the spread, 13-13. And over/under 9-17, or 40-38 for the season overall. Not great, not horrible. Week 3, we get 23 games. So let's get started. First game, we have the 0-1 Campbell Fighting Camels versus the 1-0 Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Coastal Carolina favored by 24.5. I got them winning covering. And I got Coastal Carolina winning, Campbell covering, and over on the 57. Next up, we have the 1-0 Louisiana Raging Cajuns versus the first game of the year, 0-0 Georgia State Panthers. Georgia State is a 17-point dog to Louisiana. I do have the Raging Cajuns winning. I got Georgia covering that 17 and taking under on the 59. Next up, we have Boston College, the Golden Eagles, versus the 0-1 Duke Blue Devils. The Blue Devils are favored by 4.5. I'm actually giving that 4.5 to Boston College. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 51.5. Next up, we have the 0-1 Syracuse Orange versus the 1-0 Pittsburgh Panthers. Pittsburgh favored by 21.5. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 50.5. Next up, we have the Liberty Flames versus the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Western Kentucky favored by 2 touchdowns at 14. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 54. Next up, we have the 0-1 Navy Midshipmen versus the 1-0 Tulane Green Wave. Tulane favored by 7.5. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 49. Next up, we have Tulsa Golden Hurricane versus the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 22.5. I got the Cowboys winning. I got the Golden Hurricane covering 22.5 and over on the 66. Next up, the Houston Cougars versus the Baylor Bears. Baylor is favored by 6.5 with an over/under of 62.5. I got the Bears winning, covering 6.5 and over on the 62.5. Next up, we have the Austin Peay Governors 0-2 versus the 0-0 Cincinnati Bearcats. Bearcats favored by 31.5. I got the Bearcats winning. I got the Governors covering 31.5 and under on the 52.5 overall points. Next up, we have the Appalachian State Mountaineers 1-0 versus the 1-0 Marshall Thundering Herd. Mountaineers are favored by 3.5. I got a win, cover, and under on the 57. Next up, we have the battle of the undefeated teams. We have the 1-0 South Florida Bulls versus the 1-0 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame favored by 25.5. I got the Fighting Irish winning, the Bulls covering the 25.5, under on the 52. Next up, we have the Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks versus the 1-0 University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners. Roadrunners are favored by 14.5. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 55. Next up, we have the Florida Atlantic Owls versus the 1-0 Georgia Southern Eagles. The Owls are favored by 2.5. I am giving the Eagles a 2.5, so I'm taking the Eagles for a 2.5-point dog, 2.5-point favorite. Got them winning, covering, and over on the 47.5. Next up, we have the University of Central Florida Knights versus the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. The Yellow Jackets are 1-0 this year. The Knights are favored by 7.5. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 60. Next up, we have the Carolina 49ers, 0-1 versus the North Carolina Tar Heels, 1-0. North Carolina favored by 29.5. I got them winning. I got the 49ers covering at 29.5 and under on the 59.5. We have next up the Troy Trojans versus the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders, who are 0-1. Troy is favored by 3.5. I'm taking the Blue Raiders to win. They're going to cover that 3.5, and I got them under on the 64.5. Next up, we have the Citadel Bulldogs versus the 1-0 Clemson Tigers. Clemson is favored by 44. I got the Citadel covering the 44, and I'm taking under on the 53.5. Next up, the 1-0 SMU Mustangs versus the 1-0 North Texas Mean Green. Mean Green are a 14-point dog. I am picking them to win, cover the 14, and under on the 70.5. Next up, we have the Miami Hurricanes 1-0 versus Louisville Cardinals 1-0. Louisville favored by 2.5. I'm giving again. I got the 2.5-point dogs Hurricanes. I got them winning, covering that 2.5 and under on the 65. Next up, we have the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs versus the Southern Mississippi Golden Eagles. The Eagles are 0-1. Eagles are favored by 5 at home. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 57.5. Next up, the Texas State Bobcats 0-2 versus the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks 0-1. Texas State is a 5.5-point favorite on the road. Home team, the Warhawks are a 5.5-point dog. I got them winning, covering the 5.5 and under on the 63. Next up, we have the Wake Forest Demon Deacons 0-1 versus the North Carolina State Wolfpack. Wolfpack favored by 2.5 at home. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 53. Last but not least, we have Abilene Christian Wildcats versus the 1-1 UTEP Miners. UTEP favored by 4. Got them winning, covering, and under on the 54.5. All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are the 23 games that's going to make up Week 3 of the NCAA college football season. Make sure you stay tuned to the Robert Sports Show for Week 2 of the NFL. Also, the NASCAR Gander Outdoor Truck Series playoff preview. And as we get football returning in all major conferences, like I said at the beginning of the show, Big Ten returning in October. I'm assuming that the Pac-12 will follow suit. We all remember back when Big Ten announced they were postponing the season, the Pac-12 came out the next day and said they were canceling the season, so I'm thinking it's the same kind of deal. 9 games that'll get us done first of the year, or after first of the year for college football, like a normal year. Won't have a national champion, I don't think. I don't know how they're going to do bowl games this year, but we'll see. As always, follow Robert Sports Show on Twitter at Rob Sports Show or right here on YouTube. Thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.